excited about the next talk. We talk about theory and we talk about practice, and this one really puts things, I think, into practice in a way that makes a true impact. It's a learning ecosystem to enable economic empowerment through youth. Somebody from Youthful Savings here in New York, and I'm excited to learn all about this. So I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to go ahead and share your screen and get started whenever you're ready. And we're all looking forward to talking with you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So we are Youthful Savings. We are a learning education company that has been around for about 8 years. We really focus on financial inclusion and bringing youth and we think of youth as age 24 and younger into the economic system at a younger age. And we like to provide real world skills, and we like to call that socioeconomic education. And so started. So why do we do this? Is because we currently have a distribution of resources problem. So as many of you know, across the world, there is a wealth gap. There's a large wealth gap. And currently 1% of the world's population has a net worth that's 1 million or more, and 64,000 has a net worth that's $10,000 or less. This is adjusted for USD. And one of the reasons that we think this exists is that the current education system, including higher education, doesn't include financial education and provides the opportunities for youth to build wealth at a young age. And so we're really trying to change that. And so there's currently 1.8 billion youth that are age 24 and younger across the world, which represents 20% of the world's population. So we just want to see what it would look like if we took this large chunk of the population and started them into the economic system at a younger age, and what that would look like in the next 10 to 20 years. So we have a unique product offering, and I can offer some demos if we have time at the end. But our main platform is the Learning Marketplace, which is thelearningmarketplace.com. And it provides various different self-learning modules that teach anything from, how to do your taxes, to how to pay for college, how to create a budget, how to start a business, to even dispute and conflict resolution skills, or technology and mental health skills. And then we also have a youth-owned marketplace. So it's kind of like an Etsy, but for kids, for youth, so 24 and younger. So our main product on Learning Marketplace, and kind of how we got started 8 years ago, was teaching kids how to start a business through a program called My Own Business Challenge. And so we teach them how to start a business, from idea to game planning it, to learning how to do an investor pitch, to creating goals. And then the output is that they get to have an online store. And so all of that is on the Youthful Savings Marketplace. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of underserved populations. Kids don't necessarily always have money. So we do have a 501c3 foundation that provides business investment to youth. So anywhere from $25 to $1,000 based upon the program that we're working with. They'll have some money to get started, and they'll have that capital seed money to get going. So the whole theory behind this, we call it learning engineering, is to combine well-being, economic empowerment, and community together. And so that's socioeconomic education. And although we think that math and reading, social studies and history, like all of that is really important as well, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can get a kid out of their current economic system and into a higher economic system, but this does work. And it's a great way to, really increase the well-being of the world as a whole. And we've even had discussions with like Penn Medicine about what it looks like to utilize our programming as a health determinant that can increase the well-being of like Philadelphia, because they'll have less patients coming into the Penn Medicine ecosystem if we take care of the well-being and the economics of kids at a young age. So this definitely does work, but it's just getting the word out there about this is really important. And so our value proposition is just we're completely direct to youth, teaching them at a young age, build that youth ecosystem, get them to have their online stores, and then really create a bottom-up economy. So we have in the past partnered with corporations. So we currently work with either corporations that'll sponsor our learnings, or we work with cities directly, and then get into various different educational institutions. This is something that we did out in Australia, actually, with Capgemini. We came in and did a lunch and learn program. We take a lot of feedback and a lot of data points from the youth. And so one of my favorite quotes, because it was saying that my biggest learning was that no matter what we want to be in the future, no matter how much money we're being offered, we should never lose our values and morals. And it really goes back to what we previously talked about not just teaching them finance and how to earn money, but also that character development piece. And that character development piece is often what allows the wealth gap to increase as high as it is, because those that start making money, just thing called greed that steps in. And so we're really focused on building an inclusive ecosystem. Also, a big component to what we do with this whole bottom-up economy is that we take a small transaction fee on the youth marketplace where the kids have the online stores, and that money goes into the foundation that then provides more business capital for future youth business owners. And so it's kind of like the youth are kind of paying a tax for their own. And so it's really building that the more I make, the more I can give kind of model. And so that's pretty simply what we are. I'll do a quick demo of what we do. We're always interested in partnerships, working with other people, anybody that finds this interesting or has ideas on how we can grow and invest in more kids. We're always down to help with that. And I'll share my email in the chat, but I'd love to do a quick demo and then maybe take some questions as well. Give me 1 second. So this is our main learning platform called Learning Marketplace. So it's just thelearningmarketplace.com. The first thing that you want to do is take a learner assessment test, and even before you sign up. And this will allow us to learn what kind of programming you want to gain out of this, because it can be pretty easy to get lost on all the different modules that are available on here. But basically, you'll see anything from technology and mental health is really popular. The power of acknowledgement. How do you have better communication skills? How do you protect your privacy? Conversational intelligence, my own business challenge being the most popular. Youth and taxes is actually kind of popular as well. Youth and investing. I think we have like over 100 different modules. And also it's a marketplace. So although a lot of the content comes from us directly, Youthful Savings, other people actually provide content as well. And then we provide a royalty for each download that occurs. And we just offer a simple subscription model. So either youth and families can do a monthly fee, or we can provide bulk subscriptions for organizations or cities. And currently we work with Los Angeles, we work with New York, the city of New York directly. We create a lot of different summer camp programs with my own business challenge. And we also are working with the refugee population through Human Rights First. So my own business challenge is actually being offered in Spanish. So we do a combination of assigned live self-learnings to our clients, but our youth who are our clients. And then we also do a 5-week live learning where we have our instructors that go on Google Classroom and teach these programs. In the past, we've also done live experiences where we do in-person events, and we do that in partnership with corporations, where we'll actually host either a session or a program inside of a corporate office to really further provide that real world skill and give those job skills that are necessary. That's been kind of on hold with COVID, but that was our most popular model back pre-COVID. And then this is our latest addition to our ecosystem is to really provide a market for kids. These are all of our graduates of the My Own Business Challenge, and they build products and they start selling them, and they have their own little stores. They also have their business pitches on here. Code Octopi builds websites, and she recently wrote about her time in the Youthful Savings ecosystem, and she's now going to be at MIT, and she wrote her entire application about this and how it really like strengthened her as a person. So it does provide a portfolio for kids as well, even if they don't become, the next Bill Gates. They do have this ability to show that they have these skills to be a business owner and to do the critical thinking that is necessary for it. Also, what's interesting about Learning Marketplace, going back to this right now, is that there are 8 key things that we're trying to hone in on with the learning process of Learning Marketplace, and I'll go over those real quick. So it's strong critical thinkers, effective communicators, empathetic humans, intentional decision makers, lifetime learners, productive members of society, conscious transactors, and economically empowered. And all of our learning exercises are reflection-based learning. So they get nuggets of knowledge, and then they apply that in a scenario. And then they also get a prompt to apply that into their real life. And they do a lot of writing. So we're really trying to hone in on the fact that in this technology crazed generation, people are really losing those writing skills. But we make the writing less about memorizing facts, but it's really like applying the knowledge that you're learning into your life. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I went kind of fast. I do talk fast. I'm sure you guys have some questions, so I will stop there.
All right, no, fantastic. Thanks so much. We're going to open the floor for questions, and we do have some time. And and I'm curious to know a little bit more. I guess you showed just a little bit at the end, but just a little bit more about the the different types of learning experiences that people might have, and also how much you said they come from different sources, so you sort of have guidelines that people follow, or obviously you are at the mercy to some degree of people who are willing to produce things. So I'm curious to know about both of those things, the experiences themselves and your role in those.
Yeah, so I'd say 90% of the learning exercises that are on Learning Marketplace are produced in-house, and 10% come from outside. And we launched this in 2018, and from 2018 to 2020, we really sourced like our star contributors. And so they tend to contribute their learning products on a regular basis. And we host a lot of our live Google Classroom learnings over the summer. And any organization that signs up with us gets a year-long access to Learning Marketplace, but the live learning piece is usually in the summer. So that's where you'll see those commissions go up for our contributors. But our most popular product, why people sign up for us and want to work with us, is the My Own Business Challenge, which is really teaching them how to start a business. And only those graduates can then become a vendor on the Youthful Savings Marketplace. Also, each of our graduates gets put into a group Slack channel where they get to advertise their product. And really a lot of 90% of the sales come from other youth. So they're really building their own economy, which is kind of cool. The city of New York specifically provides $1,000 stipend for each kid to be in our program. It comes from the Summer Youth Employment Program. We've been able to do something very similar with the refugee kids that we're working with, and with the city of Santa Monica as well. So any organization, any city that we work with, we sort of write in there that we do require that business investment to go into the kids as well, which then allows the kids to also have money to invest in other kids. But the key reason why people kind of join Learning Marketplace is really because they want to be a business owner, or they think they do, and then they go through our program and they're like, maybe this isn't what I want to do, but they do still learn those communication skills. Conflict resolution is actually really popular on our our site. Also, we have something called the art of storytelling, where they can take any like mental health issues they're having and turn it into a story, and they learn like the Pixar model of creating a story. So there's definitely more to offer than just the business skills, but most people are initially attracted because they want to be a business owner.
No, that sounds great. Are there also, do you also focus at all on sort of life skills, like sort of, how to manage your, how to manage your money on a day-to-day basis, or is that
Yeah.
just not quite within the scope of this?
No, absolutely. So there's something called, youth in taxes, youth in investing. There's handle your business, which isn't just like handle your actual business, but handle your personal business. And so they learn how to do budgeting. They learn, it's actually really popular, and it talks about, maybe I want to be a writer and I want to live in New York in 5 years and I want to go to Sarah Lawrence. Like, what is that going to actually look like? And so they actually map out, what that Sarah Lawrence education is going to look like, what a typical writing gig would look like. Can I afford an apartment in New York? And so that program we've partnered with community colleges on before. And kids have actually changed their decision and decided to go to a public school versus a private school based upon doing that, like actual critical thinking of realizing what a real world budget will look like in the next 5 years, and what a loan, and like how to calculate their loan payments. There's a lot of different content that's offered on Learning Marketplace.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. And in some of the life skills, are they given information, or are you able to get some where they're sort of doing and actual budgeting and practicing and seeing it all kind of play out the way it would in real life?
I'm a little confused. It's all experiential based, so they
Okay.
do problem sets. Yeah.
Okay. So they do problem sets with their own real life data,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they plan out their own real budgets based
Yeah,
on their
exactly.
desires and what their goals are.
Yeah, exactly. It is very much youth focused, and definitely not meant to look like homework, but more about like how to improve their life.
Great. All right. Well, fantastic. Well, there are time for a couple more questions if other people have other things we want to talk about. Yeah, and I don't know if there are other, if we have a little time, if there are more if you can show a demo of any of the sort of, specifics of an activity, would be interesting. I know for me to see. I don't know if that's something you can get
Yeah,
to.
I can definitely pull one up. I'll share my screen as soon as I have
Yeah,
it.
I know that'd be great, because somebody, it's nice to see the sort of the breadth of the content, but then there's usually not, time to dig in to see what the experience is. If we get a few minutes of that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. So our most popular is definitely the My Own Business Challenge. So I'll pull that up, and then I'll pull up maybe a non-financial exercise, but is really still in that bucket of in socioeconomic education, which we think is, really important. So this is My Own Business Challenge. It's definitely the most popular. And when you go to Learning Marketplace and you log in, you can just download these exercises. That's how you get them. So this just teaches them, and this is what we teach live through Google Classroom as well. But we basically teach them, computer's really slow, from idea, like how do you come up with a really good business idea? What are some great top 10 ideas? They then will share their ideas with other people, and they'll hone in on which idea they actually want to work on. Then it's kind of creating a game plan for their idea. What do they need? What materials do they need? An investor pitch is really important, and they actually record this and we post it on our site. What they already have, what they need to purchase, what the components of an elevator pitch is, and then just like, how much money they'll need in the future. And then the goals piece is really important as well. And then they track how much sales and expenses they've made. We also have a web app that goes along with this called the My Own Business Challenge Tracker. So they can do all this on a website as well. So they can write it out, or they can do it on the website. And then our other popular one is like conversational intelligence. So as they become a business owner, they'll realize that they really need to invest in sales and speaking with new clients or trying to acquire new customers. So this kind of goes along, this is kind of deep into CIQ, but each exercise starts with an objective. They learn a lot of things that you can probably, look up, and then they get told that there's other exercises on Learning Marketplace that they can download as well that would complement this exercise. So there's a lot of knowledge, and then they reflect on the knowledge. And these are kind of like exercises that are not necessarily for them, but in general. And then they go into bringing exercises into their everyday life. So taking what they learned and then they apply it into like how they will be able to have a conversation that they're thinking about having. And then there's a conclusion. So each exercise shouldn't take more than 50 minutes to complete. But yeah, that's pretty much what a simple exercise looks like. So there's a lot of knowledge, but we try to make it as fun as possible.
Do they do a lot on their own, or are they working with other people, and either as a mentor or instructor, or as other students that are working on at the same time?
Well, if we work with an organization, it's self-learning. So they do that learner assessment test in the beginning, and they'll be assigned exercises. And then our live program is usually just the My Own Business Challenge. Some programs and organizations that we worked with have their own instructors. And so as we teach the My Own Business Challenge, they'll also supplement and teach these live exercises on their own as well.
Okay. Right. Yeah, because I was also just trying to think about what kind of evaluation or feedback is that. I mean, not that you want to grade, not that we even usually, not that I've really supported grades in general in a lot of cases, but in this case, like, how do you know if what you're doing is sensible, at least, if not exactly necessarily correct?
Yeah. We do a lot of pre and post assessment tests. So we test where they were at before they work with us and then where they're at after they work with us. And those are our key data points. And our data points that we're really honing in on now are on well-being, economic empowerment, and community. So we'll test where they were at before they started working with us and then after. And a lot of
go ahead.
A lot of organizations that we work with might have their own data points that they're trying to assess as well. But that's where we're at as well.
Got it. So it sounds like it really breaks down. The ones where you're working with an organization are sort of more in-depth, simply by you've got more resources, you've got the organization's giving you someone, and you've got a cohort of people who are going to take it sort of together because they're in the same organization.
Exactly.
And then otherwise, secondarily, you've got, or alternately, you have a group of people who take it more individually. Do they then, do you have staff that then kind of helps guide them, or is that a little bit beyond what's practical?
No, if they have their own, if they end up getting a youth subscription, which is just $10 a month, and they do it on their own, it's really like the parent that will get more involved. But we do live learnings every once in a while to check in with our individual subscribers as well.
Okay. All right. So they feel at least a little bit part of the sort of your organization. There's sort of a place that they can go at least periodically. No, I totally understand how that, there's only so much you can do. It's amazing what you're doing with the resources that you have, and just trying to figure out how that all plays out. Great. No, it's interesting. No, it's making it seems like it can certainly make an impact. Are you able to, maybe said this a little bit, are you able to sort of get a sense of how well things are working? If you're really able to make an impact, you've sort of, stories of people who come back and say, hey, I run my own business now. And
absolutely. Check that all out on our blog. So Youthful Savings Marketplace, I'll put it in the chat. And on our blog, there's a lot of different success stories of youth that are business owners and what they're doing with their money and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of success stories.
Oh, that's great. How old are your typical students?
Usually high school. So probably like 15 to 20 is a good age. We do get a lot of like community college students as well.
Right. And typically the people that taking the business course are just interested in starting a business, going off on their own, and looking for some advice. They're not going to go. It's a lot more manageable and less expensive than going out and taking entire curriculum in that.
Yeah.
So, great. All right. Well, good. See if there are any other questions from the audience. And what you're doing is obviously interesting and valuable. Yes.
There's 3 people here.
Well, people may be watching. People also do tend to watch online later. So that's one of the things about the online conference. You get people coming in and out, and then you get a little bit of each. It's one of the challenges, right? When you're an in-person conference, people come and they stay, where you're dedicated to that. And then when you're online, there's a challenge where it's like, even if you intend to go, and I've done this myself, I have to admit, is, you you want to go and then it's, okay, well, here's something that's got to get dealt with at work, and then you're like, I'll get back to this later, and you
Right.
watch later. So that's been a challenge. So yeah, you have a fair number of people signed up overall, and they kind of come in and out, and people do, from our experience last year, watch the video. So we'll get more people there and more people connecting to connecting to what you had. So all right, so fantastic. So all right, well then I think we can go ahead and wrap up and move on to the next talks, which is
Great.
about
Thanks
at the
so
end of the
much,
time.
everyone.
Thank you so much, and
right.
it's great having you here. All right,
All right,
take care.
bye-bye.